Hi all, my name is Alex from productlight.com. This video is a part of our Product Drop series, which are droplets of product knowledge for aspiring PMs to learn more about a specific product topic. Today, we'll be covering Wireframing 101 to give you a quick yet comprehensive understanding of wireframes. Specifically, we will be going over what is wireframing, why wireframing matters, getting started with wireframing, and close out with the essential resources. So, what is wireframing? Wireframing is a basic visual guide representing the layout of a web page or an app. The purpose of a wireframe is to provide structure, functionality, and user flow for the product design rather than focusing on the aesthetics. You can think of wireframing as the blueprint. For example, think of the Salesforce Tower as the product. The Salesforce Tower was a $1.1 billion product. So before hiring the construction team and beginning the physical build, a blueprint laying out the build was designed. Now, there may have been hundreds of blueprint designs and iterations to the tower. This was a cost-effective way to assure the stakeholders were aligned rather than determining there was an issue with the tower after it was built. As you can imagine, that would have been pretty problematic. Now, there are a couple types of wireframes we are often exposed to. The first is a low-fidelity mockup. It consists of simple sketches and basic layouts. You'll see scribbles and squares rather than text and boxes rather than images. The other type is a high-fidelity wireframe. High-fidelity wireframes include some more detail while keeping the content simple. This includes basic typography, spacing and alignment, some simple icons, as well as some buttons. Now, one thing to keep in mind is you'll often see visually polished designs with precise font, actual icons instead of placeholders, real content, and brand identity. It's important to note that these aren't wireframes, but mockups. Mockups should not be used in place of wireframes, as they are developed later on in the design process after stakeholder approval. So now, why exactly do wireframes matter? Why not use a mockup rather than a wireframe? Generally speaking, wireframes are cost effective. They are used to save time and money by catching design problems when they are the cheapest to fix. Wireframes function as a communication tool. The team can identify and resolve layout issues early and therefore reduce expensive late-stage changes. Wireframes allow for user experience optimization, in which teams can test navigation and design the information hierarchy. They allow for rapid iteration since they are quick to create and modify. They also encourage experimentation. While I won't go into detail about the various reasons wireframes matter, I do want to provide an example as to how wireframes function as a communication tool. Let's say you are a product manager leading the development of a nutrition app for your fitness app subscribers. After identifying your personas, conducting market research, and analyzing the data, you have a good grasp as to what your clients want. So now you want to get the app off the ground, so you bring your wireframe to your design and engineering leads. While you may believe the app is easy to integrate, it's important to note that each team sort of has their own language. A software engineer will evaluate the project from a coding perspective, and the design team will evaluate the project from a user experience and branding perspective. The wireframe in its simplest form allows for communicating between the various functions to assure that the requirements can be met. The engineer might point out that the lift to implement one version over another requires a much larger amount of resourcing to implement, or the design team may highlight that there is too much going on in the layout, which will overwhelm the user experience. The teams can align early on, and the product manager can quickly reiterate the mockup based on the feedback provided, rather than spending a larger amount of time producing mockups. So now, getting started with wireframes. As mentioned before, we have low fidelity, high fidelity, and mockups as displayed on your screen from left to right. I'll go over high and low fidelity tips to get you started. Beginning with low fidelity wireframes, you can start off by making wireframes with pen and paper, but I personally prefer Figma and Canva for my designs, as they are tools that I'm comfortable using. Think of the most basic structure for your design and create that. Items that are often used are lines, boxes, and scribbles. Thicker lines refer to titles or sections. Multiple lines indicate writing of some sort, such as a sentence or a paragraph. Boxes indicate a card or an allocated section for the information, and the boxes with an X are used as image placeholders. Now that you are comfortable with your low fidelity wireframe and you have received additional feedback that customers and cross-functional teams believe subscribers should be able to find recipes through a search bar, as well as filter based on whether the meals are for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, where would you want these features to go? In our example, we have added a search bar as well as a dedicated placeholder for the tags at the very top. We have reiterated our design to know that there will be multiple categories and that the bottom bar will always allow users to go back to their home page, their fitness page, their nutrition page, as well as their profile page. In high fidelity wireframes, you can update your scribbles with basic icons. This is as far as you would go within the wireframe stage. Keep in mind that you would create a wireframe for each page. What would a user see when they select the meal card or select the profile tab? Each of these would be another wireframe. Now I want to quickly touch on mockups. You are finally content with your wireframes and have received stakeholder approval to move forward with this nutrition application. Depending on how your team is structured, it may either be your role or another function's responsibility to develop the mockups. A mockup takes the design a step further by presenting a pixel perfect, highly polished visual representation that looks exactly like the final product. It includes all visual design elements such as shadow, gradients, precise spacing, actual images and icons, refined typography treatments, the brand styles, as well as specific platform design patterns, such as if it is developed on iOS or Android. Mockups help stakeholders and developers understand the exact look and feel of the final product, while high fidelity wireframes are more focused on validating the interface's structure and functionality before moving into the final visual design. The key distinction is that high fidelity wireframes answer how it works, while mockups answer how it looks. So if you want to learn more about wireframing, we can provide a more in-depth video with step-by-step examples to build wireframes, or you can check out various learning platforms. Coursera has a few design courses to take your skills to the next level. I also highly recommend that you give Figma a try and experiment with both wireframes and product mockups. I've listed a few additional resources which you can feel free to check out based on your learning style. Anyways, that wraps up this product drop on wireframes. If you have any feedback or questions, please feel free to leave those in the comments below. And if you learned anything, feel free to like and subscribe. Until next time, bye.